Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite products that I used all throughout 2020. I know this is a little late, but I figure better late than never. I love referring back to these videos just to see what I was loving at the time or just see like how long I've loved products for. So that's also a good way that you can find some rediscovered favorites, things that you forgot about, that you forgot that you loved and stuff like that. Yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you watch my videos frequently, then all of this stuff is going to be kind of boring because I use this stuff all the time. I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe and let's get started. This could have been a lot longer and I could have included more stuff, but I really tried to be strict with what I picked so that this didn't go on for forever and I have just like my absolute favorites that I would be sad if I didn't have. I'm gonna start with face primer. I picked only one because if I had to choose only one primer for the rest of my life, it would be the Hourglass Veil Primer. The reason why is because I feel like this is a very universal primer for a lot of different skin types. I have pretty normal to oily or dry skin, so I guess combination. My skin's very normal, but when I wear makeup, I will get oily in my T-zone on my cheeks. This is the only primer that I have found that actually really helps with the oil control without making me look like all of the hydration is out of my skin. But at the same time, if you have dry skin, you could also use this primer. It's really great. Sometimes, like especially in the winter, I'll get dry like right around my nose, and this doesn't really make that even more dry. So I just really like this. This is definitely my top favorite primer ever. The thing that I have the most of here is foundation. I couldn't just pick one. I picked 4. If you want a full video on like my top favorite foundations, let me know. I think that would be interesting. I'm just gonna brief over these because I can get more descriptive in a future video if you want. I would say my top 3 foundations are tied. I don't know which one is my absolute favorite. And then I have another one that comes in right after those. My top 3 equally tied are the Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation, the DIOR Forever Foundation, this is the Forever Matte, and then the Anastasia Luminous Foundation. The one that comes in second place after those 3 tie for first would be the Rare Beauty Foundation. So these 3 I actually like to mix together, not all 3 together, but I'll mix either these 2 together or these 2 together. I don't think I've ever mixed these 2 together just because these are the 2 like luminous ones and then this one's more matte. So I'll mix the DIOR in with any other foundation just to kind of create like a little custom concoction, and it's gorgeous. I mean, I guess if I had to pick, I would pick the DIOR Forever Foundation as my favorite still, but I don't really like it on its own anymore. I have to mix it in with something a little bit more radiant. So yeah, these 3 are my top 3 foundations ever. I don't know which one's my top favorite, and then after that it would be the Rare Beauty. So definitely love these. I have 3 different concealers that have been my absolute favorite this year. First one is the Patmcgrath Skin Fetish Sublime Concealer. This is one of my favorites just because it gives a very natural finish. It's not crazy full coverage, it's not super duper sheer, it's just a very beautiful finish and it's very easy to blend out. So this is one of my favorites. And then my other favorite is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I totally forgot about this, and then in the fall and winter season I rediscovered it again and started using it. The only thing I don't like about this is the way that it applies. You have to pump it out and it pumps out way too much product, so you end up just wasting so much of it. I wish it had a wand, but it's still such a great concealer. The last favorite that I like is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. This to me is identical to the Tarte Shape Tape. They're very similar. I think I'd have to like apply them next to each other just to see what it is that makes them different. I think that maybe the Tarte Shape Tape is a little bit more hydrating, where this is a little bit less hydrating, but this has been one of my favorite go-to concealers, especially when I'm more fair, because a lot of the time when I'm doing my makeup, I have different concealers in different shades. So if I'm more tan, I'm gonna go for the Patmcgrath or the other shade in the Pro Longwear Concealer that I have. But like if I'm fair, I only have the light shade in this, so I'm gonna grab this. So it just kind of depends, but I really love all 3 of these so much. For face powders, I'm just gonna briefly touch on these because you guys already know what my favorite face powders are. I've been using these 2 for years. I think since like 2016 when the Makeup Forever powders came out, but the H104 powder, that is just my jam. You can pick any color that matches your skin complexion the best, but I like this because it's a very fine milled powder that you can use underneath your eye area. I set my concealer with this. I found that if I don't set my concealer, the concealer will move up into into my eyes and actually make my eyes water. I do find that I have to set it. I don't really notice that I'll crease without it, but I do notice if I use a heavier powder under my eyes, then I crease. The other powder that I really like is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. This is my absolute favorite for setting right here, inner part of my cheeks, and then like my forehead, upper nose area, because that's where I get the oiliest. I've tried other powders and they're fine, but nothing is as good as this one for me. I can't use this under my eyes. I will get chunky, crepey under my eyes. So that's why I use two separate powders. That's just what works for me. And I'll try different things here and there, but I always end up coming back to these for a setting. And it's been like that for a few years now. I have two favorite cream bronzers that I am just obsessed with that I've used all year long. The first one is the Bondi Bay from NUDESTIX. I started using this in 2019 and I still really, really love it. I don't actually go on and apply it straight to my face. I'll actually pick it up with a brush and then apply it with the brush. I just think this color specifically for my skin tone is perfect. When I'm my natural pale shade, this is perfect. The one that I love even more, that's hands down my favorite cream bronzer, is the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in Macchiato. This is nasty. I started using this in spring of last year. It's been almost a year since I discovered this. I think that this is probably one of the most universal products. She also has a bunch of different shades in this, so there's a shade out there for you, but the formula is just incredible. You just want to take your brush, pounce it in there, stipple it on the face, and you're done. It's beautiful. For cream blush, I have two. Again, Rihanna, Fenty, you did the damn thing. Their products are just the best. So this one specifically is the color Rose Latte, which when you see it, for my skin tone, you're probably like, what? But if you go in with a really light hand, it's just stunning. And obviously if you have a deeper complexion, you can go in with more. This is such a universal shade. It works for so many different skin tones. It's just beautiful. And on me, it kind of gives like a rosy bronze look on me, and I just love it. And then the other cream blush that I really liked that came out last year is the Patrick Ta Shiso LA. This is actually a cream and powder duo, and someone told me in the comments one time that you're actually supposed to put the powder on first and then set it with the cream, which you would think it would be the other way around, but I just love these deeper blush shades. Anything that goes a little bit more brown, nude, I just love. But all of the blushes that he came out with are just absolutely stunning, and the powder ones too. I totally forgot to grab those. He has just like regular powder blushes, ones without the cream, and those are also absolutely beautiful. For powder face products, my hands down favorite bronzer has changed this year, because when this came out, I used it nonstop, and now it is my favorite bronzer of all time. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. First of all, the packaging is glorious. Second of all, it's big. Third of all, the color is perfect. And you can see, I got this in the fall. And for the last 2 months, I haven't even really been doing my makeup that much. So this is crazy. I actually really love using this with the bronzer brush that Charlotte Tilbury has. I think it's just called like their bronzer blush brush or something. This is just the most beautiful color. This is in the shade medium. They have a tan and a dark, I believe. And they also have a lighter one. So I use the medium right now because I am more tan. I could probably use the darker one, but I used the medium today and I was fine. But it's beautiful. This is my favorite bronzer. The formula is great. The color's great. I just like the undertone. It's not super red, but it's not super yellow either. It's just right in between. It's stunning. I love it. Contour products. So I have 3 contour products. The first one I already showed you. It was one of the Makeup Forever powders, the sculpting one. This is great, especially when I'm super fair. I did dab a little bit of this in my makeup today, and I feel like because I have on a spray tan, it went a little bit too cool toned for me. This is S116. They do have a darker one, but that one was too deep for my skin tone. So I do really love this one, but the number one hands down favorite of the year, Bone Beige from MAC. If you have more fair skin, try this. You will love it, especially if you're super fair. If you want some warmth without looking orange, this is just beautiful. You can go with a light hand, you can build it up. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love this. And then lastly, my last favorite contour product is the NYX 3 Steps to Sculpt palette. I mainly like the sculpting powder in here. This is phenomenal, and especially for the price point, it's all that in a bag of chips. It gives a very beautiful color. I especially love this for the nose contour. I know that's kind of random, but it's such a fine powder. It just kind of glides on the nose, and I feel like the nose contour is very tricky to get. I just find that that one, aside from even like the MAC one and the Makeup Forever one, I feel like this blends out on my nose contour better than the rest. I don't know. So love that. And then moving into like a bronzer highlighter situation, this is just one of my favorite face products ever. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. I have fair medium. I think she only has 2 shades in this. She really needs to come out with more. This Sculpt powder is gorgeous, but even more the highlighter. This is probably my most used highlighter ever. The reason why is because for my skin tone, it is the most beautiful champagne color. It's not too gold, but it's not too silver. But especially when I'm more fair, this is the one that I grab to, just because it looks like my skin is just radiating throughout. Another great highlighter is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is a cream one. Also absolutely stunning. I think if I had to pick one highlighter, it would be this one, because I think this one's probably the most universal for me, and I think it's the most natural looking one, but you could also build it up to be a little bit more intense. And then my last favorite highlighter, which is kind of bittersweet, the Becca Champagne Pop highlighter. And it's sad because they are closing down their company, which really, really sucks. They have some of the best products ever. Their blushes and their highlighters are just like top notch. I feel like that's what really started the highlighter industry, and Champagne Pop I think is one of the most universal shades. So I'm really sad that they are discontinuing all of their products and discontinuing their brand. That just really sucks. But yeah, this is one of the most beautiful shades. Love this, especially when I have a self tan on or I've gotten tan from the sun. Beautiful. I have 3 eyeshadow palettes here. I didn't want to like bombard you with shadows, eyeshadow palettes and stuff like that. I just wanted to pick the ones that I use constantly and the ones that I gravitate towards. So number 1 is the Tarte Maneater palette. I just can't live without this. I think if I had to pick one palette for the rest of my life, it would be this one, just because these 2 shades right here, I just love. They're perfect. I can create a natural look with this. I can create a very smoky, dramatic look with this. It's mainly warm. I can make it somewhat cool. I think that's the only thing that this is really missing is cool tone shades for me, because you guys know I love cool tone shades, but really love this palette. My second favorite is the ColourPop Going Coconuts palette. The quality of this isn't the best. All of these shadows end up like falling out all the time, but I really love this one. I actually really love combining these 2 together. And then of course, you guys know I love my Single Makeup Geek shadows. They reformulated all of their shadows, so I'm not as familiar with them as I am their original shadows. That's my goal for the next few months, is to get more familiar with these shades, because Makeup Geek has some of the best eyeshadow formulas out there, and the price is right. So stay tuned. I'm gonna be doing possibly a swatch video. Let me know if you're interested in that. But then lastly, this is kind of random I feel, but the Makeup by Mario Master Metallics palette, I love mainly for this bronzy shade right here. If I could just pick one, I actually have that on my eyes right now with another glittery product on top, but that, and then this one and this one, those 3 shades, I wish I could just get them individually, because I don't really use a lot of shimmers as it is. But as far as bronzy shades, I have been looking for a really good bronzy color that's more of like a chocolate, like a rich chocolate bronze, and that's exactly what this bronze color is. I just love it. I use that color constantly. I could have picked like 10 different brow products, but I just wanted to pick 2 that I discovered in 2020 that I absolutely love. So the first one is the Hourglass Arch Brow Pencil in the shade Dark Brunette. The reason why I picked this is because the pencil itself is very, very unique. It is kind of like one of those skinny pencils, but it's more slender on one side and wider on the other. It's very unique, so it makes those front hairs very easy to tackle. Really, really love that. Other one that I discovered last year, actually, I think it was in the fall. My friend Amanda told me about this. This is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and I have the shade Neutral Brown. This to me is very much so like any other high-end brow pencil that has a skinny tip like this, and this was like $5. So I highly recommend this, just because the price is right and it's honestly identical to like Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, Brow Wiz from Anastasia, you name it, it's identical. So I just wanted to share that because that's definitely one of my go-tos. I wanted to share 2 eyeliners. This one, like, so I don't really do eyeliner that much, but when I do, like a winged liner, this has been my jam, which is kind of shocking just because I have been a gel liner core since high school, honestly. Even when I was in high school, I got the MAC Black Track gel pot, and ever since then, it's all been about gel liners until last year. This is the L'Oreal Flash Cat Eye. This is just my favorite. It's so easy to apply. It's just one of those, I think it's a felt tip. To me, this is just so easy to apply. It's affordable. It's super, super black. I found like I'll use a higher end liner like this, and I always end up having to come back to this one and fix it because this is just way easier to apply in my opinion. Love this. And then you guys know I love a nude liner in my waterline. Obviously Rimmel is one of my top favorites, but this is a new favorite that I found in the fall, and this is the Makeup by Mario one. It's the Master Matte Brightening Pencil in Light 1. The reason why I like this one more than the Rimmel one is the color. It's very neutral. It's not too warm. Really, really love this. I picked out 4 mascaras for 2020. The first one that's probably my top favorite of last year was the Tarte Maneater mascara. It was really old and I couldn't open it up the other day, but this is what the wand looks like. It doesn't look like anything special, but for me, I'm very picky with mascaras because they usually will make my eyes burn or make my eyes water, and then it'll get in my eyeball and my eyes will burn. So I'm very, very picky, but love this one. And then of course, you guys know I love the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. Looks like this. It's definitely a chunkier, fatter wand. Love that. And all of these I use just on the top because on the bottom, I love the MAC Extended Play Mascara. I love this because it's got this really tiny, skinny wand that I can just get into every single eyelash and really separate it. And then this one I discovered at the end of the year, actually, and it's one of my favorites. It's the Lancome Lash E Doll Mascara. And this is one that I can actually use for the top and the bottom. It's a curved wand, looks like this. These two things are very random, but I just had to share them with you because I feel like anytime I've applied my false lashes throughout the month of 2020, I've used these things, and I don't usually mention them, but for me, they're necessities. So the first thing is the glue. This is the Duo Brush On Adhesive, and this is the green one. So it brushes on completely clear. So no matter what you're doing with your makeup, whether it be like a very, very smoky eye or something a little bit more natural, it's gonna dry clear on your eyes and it's not gonna dry dark. So if you mess up, it's not that big of a deal. Plus the brush on is just so easy. You just brush it right on the lash and there's no hassle. So can't live without this. These are a staple. So these are the velour lash tweezers, and they're bent so that you can really get a hold on the lash. And then when you apply it, if you just consciously think, okay, this flat side goes onto my eye like this, it's so much easier to apply. And then you can grab the inside like tweezers because it's got the pointy tip, but it's a rounded pointy tip, so it's not like a sharp edge, and then you don't feel like you're actually going to gouge out your eyeball. So it's just really great. This has made applying lashes a million times easier, and it's also a little bit safer as well. So highly recommend these if you apply false lashes. Last but not least, we're gonna finish off with lips, and lips is where I went a little crazy. You know how I showed you a lot of foundations? Well, I've got a lot of lip products. I think I've got my favorites here. I'm sure there's more, but lip liners, and these are all neutrals because I don't like a lot of color on my lips. If I do, I like it to still be a nude and a beige, just a different shade. My top #1 favorite lip pencil is Oak from MAC. This is just like the most perfect neutral nude for me, and I can build it up or make it more natural, but I've used the crap out of this. #2 would be any of the KKW nude lip pencils. I love the Nude 0.5, Nude 1, Nude 1.5, Nude 2, but anything from 0.5 to Nude 2 are my favorites, and I'll combine them with the Oak from MAC and do a little on the outer corner and, you know, play around with it. And some of them are more warm toned, some are more cool toned, some are more pink, some are more beige. So I love them. The formula is incredible. And then I also love MAC Cork. This is another really great one for me for like creating definition and just like shadows on my lips with lip liner. So love that color. And then my last favorite is the NYX Nude Suede Shoes Pencil. This actually reminds me a lot of the KKW Beauty Nude 0.5. They're very, very similar. that's also one that I grab all the time and use. For lipsticks, I also love to mix my lipsticks together. I like to mix them with the lip pencils and just make little concoctions. So I think I probably have like 3 different lipsticks on my lips right now, and I have 2 lip liners. So I have 5 products on my lips right now. I would say the #1 lipstick still, I think this is my favorite last year too, but is the Tom Ford First Time lipstick. I use this all the time. Even if it's not the main color I'm using, I'll still tap it in the center just because it adds a little bit of a peachy nude, and it's just stunning. The formula is so comfortable and beautiful, and the packaging is glorious. I hate how expensive it is, but I feel like this was more of a reasonable purchase for me because I use it so much, where I could spend $5 on a million other lipsticks and not use them as much, where this would be more, love this color. It's stunning. And then I like to kind of just like mix these other ones in with it. So I've been really loving the Joseph Colors Desi X Katie More Creamer Please. This is very warm, so if I ever have on something that's a little bit more cool than what I'm going for, I'll grab this and just tap it in, and it adds that perfect amount of warmth that I'm looking for. I also really love the MAC My Tweety lipstick. I do have that on right now. I think that the main color that you can see in my lips with the darker lip liners, but this is a very interesting formula. It's almost like a powder moussey formula. It's really, really nice. And then these 2 came out at the end of 2020. These are the Buxom Full Force lipsticks. So I've got Heartthrob and Fly Girl. This one's a little bit more neutral. This one's a little bit more pink, but these give a little bit of a sheen. So I've surprisingly been wearing more lipsticks with a sheen. Well, basically these, but normally I just like a straight flat matte look, but comfortable. And lately I've been liking adding this just on top to give that slight little sheen to the lips. Loving those. And depending on like what I am going for, whether I want it more warm or more cool, I'll grab either Heartthrob or Fly Girl. The last product I have downstairs in my purse, and I totally forgot to bring it up here, but it's something that I actually use the most, and it is my DIOR Lip Glow Lip Balm. That is a lip balm that you put on and it will alter your lip color. It has like a slight tint to it, but it changes depending on what your lip color is. It'll look different on everyone depending on what your natural lip color is. My mom was recently in the hospital, and my dad and I were sitting in the parking lot waiting because we couldn't go in with her. But the funny part is that my dad had really, really dry lips and he didn't have any chapstick, and I was like, oh, I've got some, but it's tinted. So he's like, I don't care, whatever. And I mean, you had to wear a face mask anyway so no one would see, but he puts it on and I'm like, you're probably not even gonna notice, because for me, when I put it on, I don't notice that it's that pink, but I wear lipstick and lip products all the time. So for me, putting pink on my lips is like not that big of a deal. But on him, who never wears like a tint or whatever, he was like, oh yeah, you can see it. So he had like some hot pink lips going on, but he had a mask on, so he was fine. But it definitely gives a tint, and if you're not used to it, then it'll be more apparent. I think that is it. That's everything for this video. I feel like I just wanted to keep it very strict to the core products that I have been using all year long, that I would be sad if ever got discontinued. And if you guys watch my videos, you already know that these are my favorites because I use them constantly. And I've just found that that's what I love to do. I know that it's fun to play around with new products and stuff like that, but to be honest, like, this beauty industry has gotten so saturated with products that I just want to use what I truly love and enjoy using. That might mean the same look over and over, and that might mean the same products over and over, but that's the stuff that I enjoy using and makes me happy. And I'd rather use stuff and show products that I thoroughly enjoy and thoroughly recommend than constantly showing you new stuff to where it's overwhelming. I do like to sprinkle that in here and there, but I also want to make sure that you know that these are my favorites and I don't want to stray away from them. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what my favorites were for the year of 2020. Let me know what your favorites were. What are your go-to products that you can't live without, that you've been using for at least a year? And then stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing a full monthly favorites of what I've been using for the last month coming up pretty soon here, because it will be some different products. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and I will see you very soon. Bye.